Bible and Torah Study Queue. The queue for Bible and Torah study. The claim is that there's a queue such that with it everything gets fixed, and without which everything is like the world out there. The fact of the matter is that the Messiah text has been here since Moses left it there to be the guide for us to become Messiahs. The alternative to Moses' queue is the Messiah person who is always just around the corner or else 100 years away. Same difference. In other words, the Sagists are half right and half left. There is a Savior, the Messiah, text at Genesis 1:1a/Alef, but not a Messiah person. Rather, it has been there since Revelation at Mount Sinai to Moses around the 14th century before the Common Era. You cannot get Bible study, Torah study right if you miss the queue of Moses. The Sages, at a loss to understand why things were just as broken before as after the revelation to Moses at Mount Sinai, tried to make it up for it by inventing the dualism tradition of the oral and written Torahs and its corollary Messianism. First, get the queue and trash the knockoff. Then get to work studying and applying it to the challenges facing us to make our world a fit place to live. The following treatise is a sample exposition of the core concepts involved. Genesis 1:1a, Enigma. The opening word of the Torah Bible is the most misunderstood word ever written. Missing the queue is not the same as the queue is missing. Since then, all human tragedy can be traced back to this event. Likewise, all human joy can be projected by recovering Moses' queue. Why can't we today understand the text of the Torah written in a different context? Simply because we're lacking the code of translation for interpretation. You either get it right from the baby bang at the story of creation, or else get everything wrong thereafter. Everything follows by added or subtracted measure. It's that simple. Caveat: no claim is made of being exhaustive. It's the tip of the iceberg, barely scratching the surface. The NT and Rabbinic readings. The two prevalent readings of the opening word of verse 1:1a are the New Testament and the Rabbinic. Both are equally erroneous for distinct reasons which don't make a difference. The NT reading of Genesis 1:1-3 is, quote, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth was ... and there was light," while the Rabbinic reading is, quote, "In the beginning of God's creating the heavens and the earth, when the earth was ... and there was light." On the one hand, the NT keeps it freelance by switching the ordering of the words around in verse 1:1 from created God into God created. On the other hand, the Rabbinic makes verses 1:1-3 into one thought by inserting of in 1:1 and when in 1:2 respectively. Neither the NT nor the Rabbinic are literally faithful. The teaching in gematria. The Torah is a teaching of the 5 books of Moses. The Tanakh is the Bible of the Pentateuch, prophets, and writings. It is the oldest extant oral tradition dating from the Archaic of Israel around the 14th century before the Common Era and written down as text around the 6th century before the Common Era. The Torah is a teaching, but what is a teaching? For starts, it's not the 613 precepts of the sages and sagists, nor the 10 commandments of Moses. It's the one cue of the Creator. So then, what is the cue of the Creator? Let's do the math. 613 unfolds as 6 plus 1 plus 3 adds to 10, which in turn unfolds as 1 plus 0, giving 1. Let's use the numbers to clear the table. The infinite comes as if dividing by 0. The 0 is denominator, while infinity is numerator, and together come out as 1, in the limit, of course. When is where? The question is, what is it? What is the teaching? The answer is that it's where it is. That is, what is it? What it is where it is. Where it's found. But what is it but where it is if not at the beginning? It couldn't be any time else between now and any other time before the beginning, because that would leave all that out unaccounted for. Is there a beginning? But is there a beginning? Surely. But what comes before the beginning? Nothing comes before the beginning. There is no answer and there is nowhere to look for it. A beginning must come out of nothing. But what is this nothing? Well, if beginning is first, then nothing must be one. So, first creation comes from the one creator. I repeat, first creation, so creation first comes from the one creator. PaRDeS and PaRDeS. There are two Kabbalahs. The recent one we developed of the primeval Kabbalah of PaRDeS, based solely on Genesis 1:1/Alef, and the medieval Kabbalah of PaRDeS, based on all of the Tanakh, plus corrupted by outside sources, namely PaRDeS, Revelation is/becomes human DRP with inspiration D, enlightenment R, erudition P. Both are acronyms with different choice of vowels. The consonants in both stand for sought, secret S/ Derash, discovered D, Remes, remit R, Peshat, plain P. For convenience and consistency, we'll use the mnemonic descriptive acronym of PaRDeS Kabbalogy in the following exemplifications. Gatekeepers and the clue. There is a clue to the Q, and there are no gatekeepers. The question is, what is it and where can we find it? Where is this commandment mitzvah? Singular one, not collective nor plural. To make a long story short, it's in our mouth as language and in our hearts as creativity. That is, in human creativity is/becomes mouth language DRP with subject D, verb R, object adjective P. Deuteronomy 30:11-14. Q, to get the job done. In plain English, the Q is about what to do to get our job done as humanity on earth. Turn the Q in your hand to be revealed as flashes between your eyes as work instrument, pen, paintbrush, or hammer. Furthermore, don't keep it to yourself. Dress your house and circumstances accordingly with writings. Please know that no mention is anywhere ever made of any Messiah coming to save us from doing our job for us. We're grown-ups. Deuteronomy 6:8-9. Doing the physics and language. What comes before the beginning of things? Nothing. So the beginning must come out of nothing. Nothing is the source of everything. No, not a thing, rather nothing. If not a thing, then it will be the power of powers to make things happen. But what are things if not mass, space, and time? Let's use the equation of physics to put things in perspective. Entity S is/becomes thing DRP in time D, space R, mass P. Unintended Xism and worse. There is the unicity of the Torah. Then comes dualism of the Sagists, splitting the Torah into written and oral Torahs, and its corollary Messianism. Once out of the bottle and exposed to Hellenism, the unintended consequences of the oral Torah tradition is the universal religion of Xism. But that's not even the bad news. What's worse is that it degraded honest study into idle faith. And furthermore, it has us aimlessly waiting for a second exodus from bondage with plenty of free time and entertained into believing that counting our blessing is happiness. 2 is less than 1. It is an abomination to split the one Torah into written and oral Torahs. The norm, PaRDeS, spells out as one whole Torah is/becomes triad parts human DRP. But with the oral and written Torahs, we would have written Torah S/1, oral Torah S/2, Messiah/gatekeeper, triune parts human D, R, P. The problem is that the whole is whole and it is not halfable. The Torah is simply one whole, not two halves. There is divine S is/becomes human DRP, and there is no Messiah/gatekeeper in between. It simply doesn't make any sense unless you choose to believe out of convenience. Granted that maybe in the absence of the Q, the second best over chaos is the Oral Torah and Messianism, but missing the Q is not the same as the Q is missing. There is a Q and there is no need to choose between knockoff or gloom and doom. The take-home message is that the Sagists excelled in counting trees and missed the forest altogether. Bias in translation. Without the master key, it is easy to misinterpret with a bias in translation. Case in point is, what role is Israel to play in the world? Is it to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, a religion amongst many? Or is it to be a state of servers and a nation of leads, a world harmonizer? And if the latter, why, how, and with what? Well, why? Because it's given there as residue at the baby bang. How? By applications as is herein shown. With what? With the universal principle of knowledge of PaRDeS Kabbalogy. And wholly by making sure the slash of creative slash creatures separating the creator from creation stays there in place. Deuteronomy 19:6. Genesis 1:1a / Alef. As such, PaRDeS Kabbalogy consists of the first letter of Hebrew Alef A, signifying the creator, number 1, and is mute, and the first word of the Torah Bereshit, in beginning of, signifying creation. Overall, as Alef / Bereshit, A / in beginning of. That is, let's take Genesis 1:1a / Alef by parts. The creator Alef is / becomes creation, Genesis 1:1a. This is expressed as Alef is / becomes Genesis 1:1a, DRP with secret S, verily / reveals, reality DRP with time D, space R, mass P. And once having established the norm as indicated by the Q, Genesis 1:1 would now read as follows. Genesis 1:1, in beginning of, created power of powers, language with the heavens and language with the earth. Comment. Leaving the transliterated Hebrew like Alef / Bereshit out for simplicity, this unfolds iteratively as A / in beginning of PaRDeS. A in beginning of created S / DRP with in beginning of created Elohim D, created Elohim language R, Elohim is language with the heavens and language with the earth P. Light Genesis 1:2-5. The following interpretation of day 1 of creation is meant for illustrative purposes and no disrespect meant. It is light. A / Genesis 1:1a. A / in beginning of creator, creative / creature, creation. 1:1. Creation created power of powers, language with a heart and language with a hand. 1:2. And the earth was masculine and feminine, and a blanket was over the ground, and the urge of power of powers was over life. 1:3. And the power of powers said, quote, let there be love, unquote, and there was sex. 1:4. And saw power of powers that love was good, and separated power of powers between love and sex. 1:5. And power of powers called love creativity and called sex happiness. And there was evening and there was morning, day 1. Luther's posting door. All proportion kept, but the thesis herein developed finds comparison with Martin Luther's nailing his 2 central beliefs on the door of the Protestant Reformation of the Bible as revelation over philosophy and of faith over deeds. Then was then and now is the internet and the universal principle of knowledge. Finding today's niche. These ideas belong front and center at the Bible Study Limud Torah weekly sessions. From King Solomon first-hand accounts, one can safely infer that happiness is futile. Furthermore, stepping back from in beginning of to nothingness of the black fall, one can also safely infer that only chatting creatively is fruitful with God or with fellow persons. Narrative construction is interpretation in translation. Ecclesiastes Kohelet. Shofar blowing. The following refers to Rosh Hashanah, Jewish New Year, and to Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, when the shofar, ram's horn, is blown. Tekiah is a single long blast of the shofar. Shevarim is composed of 3 connected short wailing sounds. Teruah is a staccato string of 9 broken blasts. That is to say, the shofar blows PaRDeS, as tekiah is pause/breath, shevarim, DRP, with teruah, DD, RD, PD, DR, RR, PR, DP, RP, PP. Leviticus 23:24 and Numbers 29:1. The CNS modernity. The normal modernity can be characterized as S and C of smile and cancel. That is, the S of smile for salvation S/sex D, success R, satisfaction P, and the C for cancel everything else. In other words, give me happiness or give me death. Kabbalah, theology, philosophy, and science. Let's start with our hypotheses expressed in terms of university subjects as Kabbalah S/theology D, philosophy R, science P. The question is how to call this besides PaRDeS. Regarding Kabbalah reception, the root is Kabbal and the extension is A. The ending for both theology and science is taken as ology. The ending for philosophy is Sophi. And when uniting theology with philosophy, we will have theosophy. Thus, the options are the former, Kabbology, or else the latter, Kabbosophy. Personally, my choice is Kabbology. Coin and parts. Let's rely on common sense to settle the matter. Let's imagine the following situation. I requested to take out a coin and then ask what he or she saw. He answered face, and then I asked what about underneath, and she answered heads without turning it. I asked, how did you know? He said, from experience. And what holds them together? She said, the rim. Stepping back, I requested to take out a coin and then ask what you saw, and you answered the face, then tails, and finally the rim. But where is the coin? Well, you say that what you see are the face, tail, and rim parts in the coin. Somehow you see the parts, face, tail, and rim, and the whole at once, and the whole coin at once. In our nomenclature, coin, whole S, nose/C's, tails underneath D, rim uniting R, heads on top P. Big Bang and Baby Bang. Just like there is a Big Bang of the universe, there is a Baby Bang of humanity. Insofar as we were consulted, made, and then created in the image and likeness of the Creator, we participate on both ends as creative creatures of the Creator of creation. So then, the other way around of the Baby Bang works just as well from the creators as well as from the side of creation of the Big Bang. Genesis 1:26-27 and 2:7. The CMV equivalent. The cosmic microwave background CMB of the Big Bang has equivalent in the Baby Bang in listening to the primeval sound heard between the eyes. Deuteronomy 6:8. This voice can be clearly heard underneath the noise of our thinking. It's the slash serving as residue in PaRDeS, PaRDeS. Just like the microwaves are not visible to the naked eye but are detectable with sensitive instruments, same occurs with background ever-present sound from Ein Sof, the infinite. Normally, it's part of the background noise of business, but when quieting the mind in heartful meditation, the sound of soundness comes out loud and clear. The Baby Bang residue. The residue of the Baby Bang is proof of the creation of humanity as creative creatures by the Creator, just as much as the cosmic microwave background CMB is of the Big Bang of the universe. Let's take one step back. The documentary hypothesis makes the claim that editing occurred in the final form of the Torah by the JEDP schools. While it may very well be the case, nevertheless, it's all in following the residue of the Baby Bang in Genesis at Genesis 1:1/Alef. And this background sign of residue is witnessed throughout, as we'll demonstrate in what follows by showing that it squarely shadows the residue formula. Kabbology refers to the non-mystical reception of the tradition of Moses as the point origin of primeval thought and language. This PaRDeS common sense approach contrasts with the mystical approach of PaRDeS. Listening meditation. The listening meditation which we're proposing is in following the Shema Yisrael, listen Israel. That is, binding the sign, the teaching, to your hand, free will, and there will be drippings, revelations between your eyes. In other words, taking the cue and applying it by focusing on the third eye and as if listening to the voice revealing falling stars against the dark background. Deuteronomy 6:8. Futility and fruitfulness. Happiness and enjoyment of goods in the sandbags is futile. Solely creative chatting with the Creator is fruitful. Moses' cue must be at the beginning, at interface with nothing, so as to include everything and leave nothing out. Before beginning is nothing. Nothing, not a thing, as the Creator. Nothing, not a thing as the Creator, who is the only non-thing since it isn't in creation. Simply a Genesis 1:1/A/Alef. The cue of common sense. What is the one thing needed to understand the Bible? The cue. What is the Bible Torah? The cue. What is the cue? The cue must link the whole with the heavens with the earth. Interface between the hidden and the revealed. The key to unlock the door of the house is and is not part of the house. It is because without it you don't have access to it, and it isn't because you can take it with you and leave the house behind. It can be said to be part of the house, yet is part of the lock to open the front door of the house. But we still have to insert and turn it in the lock mechanism. It must be common to all houses. Its sense must be common to all householders. Hence, it is known as common sense. Sexuality in language. Man, ish, and woman, isha. While in both, the yod, y, is pronounced, in man it shows. While in woman, it is hidden, and in its place, the he, h, is shown. The number for yod, y, is 10 and stands for hand, while that for he, h, is 5 and stands for reveal. Life is a mystery and sex is charming. Saying less is more. The Messiah effect. The human condition overwhelms all tries at explaining things. There is the automatic disqualification due to Messianism. The conclusion is that there is nothing to do but sit on our hands, patiently waiting for the coming of the Messiah to fix the broken mess of our own doing. Meanwhile, with plenty of time in our hands and nothing meaningful to do, hey, let's party. Relay race. The Enlightenment's state of right debunked the divine right of kings over 200 years ago or more. It's time to pass the baton to the 53I triad state. Underlying modernity is the thought of Greece of mono-dualism. This has to give way to PaRDeS Kabbalogy of unitriadism. In broad, contracted time strokes, Moses unfolds as revelation, as Torah revelation, S/prophets inspiration, D, writings enlightenment, R, Talmud erudition, P. This in turn triggered in Ionia the pre-Socratic thinkers with Pythagoras, Tetractys S/Pythagoras triad, D, Parmenides being R, Thales physics, P. Then onwards to Athens with Socrates, D, Plato, R, Aristotle, P, and centuries later with Xism, S, when Hellenism fused with Judaism. Today, in the interest of peace, we have church-state separation as Church S, Messiah/Gatekeeper State DRP, with Theology D, Philosophy R, Science P. With names, it is changing. Shema Yisrael. The Shema Yisrael, listen Israel, unfolds as Shema S/Yis P Ra R L D. This is followed by Yod He Vav He Eloheinu, Creator, Power of Powers, and finishes with Yod He Vav He Echad, Creator is one. That is Yod S/He D Vav R He P. Alef A is the Creator, silent letter and number 1, whereas Yod Y is hand and number 10. Recall that 10 sums as 1 plus 0 gives 1. We as creative creatures are made in the image and likeness of the Creator of creation. Genesis 1:26-27. Next follows unfoldment of love S/heart D, mind R, body P. The heart is then taken as the center of imputation of the person. Deuteronomy 6:5. Ongoing exodus. What the world needs is an ongoing exodus from mono-dualism. Bondage is where you least expect the event horizon of the black fall. Curse is but the flip side of blessing, and the rim is wafer thin. Stupidity is worshipping monodualism of today's idolatry of happiness. Man lives not on bread alone, but may live on anything that comes out of the mouth of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. Deuteronomy 8:3. Now follows an incomplete list of fictions. Fun fiction. Money to have fun. Making, spending, and passing it on takes up time, and leaving for the rest limited resources. Goods in the sandbox are ephemeral. Happiness is futile. Only living creatively is fruitful. Being creative creatures is becoming in the image and likeness of the creator of creation. Genesis 1:26-27. Fiction bestsellers. Theology, philosophy, science fiction bestsellers. And PaRDeS, Kabbalogy, non-fiction worst sellers. Worship fiction. Idolatry is not being creative creatures of creation by the Creator. Human being is being creative creature. Secret thing S/reveal things DRP. If worship doesn't derive from it, then it's simply idolatry. Deuteronomy 19:28. Theology fiction. Essentially, the sages of tradition of indigenous knowledge missed the cue and in its place came up with the Oral Torah tradition. These sages are the authorized gatekeepers of doctrine of solutions to the problems of society. But since they couldn't solve anything anyway, other than enjoying the benefit of hindsight as is written, projected the solution to the world's problems to the future for safekeeping in the person of the Messiah. The solution is simply to return to Moses' cue. This is accomplished by getting rid of all the paraphernalia and getting a good handle onto the cue and applying it thereafter throughout to everyone in every case in all ages. Philosophy fiction. Socrates only knew that he knew nothing. Plato explained the universe by narrating that a demiurge of our own creation, of our own imagination, created it. Aristotle claimed that there was no first principle. The universe is eternal and no need for creator. Good premises followed by best argument but false conclusion. No first cause, yet one cause. Moses stated that there is the one principle, hence there's the creator of creation. Politics fiction. From the age of enlightenment, the classical three-power triune state, one vote per person, solely adult suffrage. From the baby bang, the five-power triad state, 3 votes per person, tutored infant suffrage. Science fiction. Modern science fiction. Modern physics of quantum mechanics and general relativity are a hoax, solely getting 5% right and 99% wrong of the stuff out there, light and dark stuff respectively. A coin flip does 50% right, 10-fold times better than theory. We're talking about the dark matter and dark energy. Baby bang and big bang. There's a patent need to derive all the above Big Bang ticket items from the baby bang of PaRDeS Kabbalogy at Genesis 1:1a Alef. PaRDeS verily reveals reality. Life isn't for summer reading. You get the idea. Questing the cue. My writings are too advanced for the times and for my own good. Being past the horizon, they're out of sight. Being past the event horizon, they're out of sight, such that people can't even see the connection to the world. I'm idealist at heart, out of conviction, questing. I always went through life without direction, without goals. Just one goal. I fell short until my book PaRDeSism, when I made the breakthrough of finding in Genesis 1:1a Alef the cue to the Torah. I then settled with this discovery. My works reflect my quest of pursuing the universal principle of knowledge out of which derive all the rest. About the author. Ricardo Turullols-Bonilla, yours truly, studied physics at UT Austin, mathematical physics at Imperial College London, graduate philosophy at UNAM, Mexico City, MBA at Iberoamericana, Mexico City, and Kabbalah on his own in Austin. This last one proves that there is no need for tutelage to the Torah, which is always open to the heart. His books are found at Amazon and his videos at YouTube, plus podcasts elsewhere. Amazon, YouTube, and podcasts. Book, Friends of Dialogue, subtitle, The Quest of Keeping the Heart, A Philosophy of Practice, 2005. Book, Dialogue of Friends, subtitle, Making Sense of the Human Spirit, A Practice of Philosophy, 2005. Book, Triads, subtitle, The Pre-Socratic Origins of Dialogical Science, 2012. Title, PaRDeSism, subtitle, Human Science 101, 2016. Title, The Principle of World Caring, subtitle, Peace by Wholeness, 2019. Title, Saving Creation, The Baby Bang of Paradise Civilization, 2022. Title, The Sweet Spot, subtitle, On the Obvious, All Revealing Yet Hiding in Plain View, 2023. Videos at YouTube, there's a handle. Books at Amazon, there's a handle. Yours truly, Ricardo, and GD Bless.